Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Everything in Moderation, episode 3, and we have a new face today.
Hello,
This is
I'm
Joe,
Joe.
everybody. Introduce yourself, Joe.
Hey, I'm Joe. This is me. Uh, Probably more right leaning than not.
That's good. We needed the balance. We need to balance everything out.
We need the
Someone,
balance. We need four conservatives versus one liberal Eric.
yeah, but you're like a liberal Hulk.
That's funny as hell.
Yo, I got a text today that almost seems like it could have come from you. It was like some random number, and it said something like Donald or Joe Biden doesn't know what he's doing, and you should try to talk to Donald Trump. Hold on,
I
let
don't
me.
think either of them know what they're doing.
Biden refuses to condemn the radical left-wing rioters. Pres Trump acts to defend our American safety. His strength is clear. Reply learn to learn more.
You got a text message that said that?
It's like random. It's from a random 855 number.
Bro, that's absurd. The
Eric,
hacking has begun.
Eric, what's our topic for today?
All right, today our topic is capitalism, and more so than just capitalism. My thesis essentially is going to be that the way capitalism is set up in America, it forces unbelievable wealth inequality.
That's the American dream, baby.
Yeah, the American dream is that 5 people get to be rich and everyone else sucks to be you.
Yeah, it really does suck to not be one of
Well, what's your alternative? Equal outcome?
What do you mean?
Now, so if you don't have competition, how are you going to redistribute wealth? And who's redistributing it? And how much are they getting paid to redistribute it?
All right, so there's a lot of questions there. I don't think it should be like a full redistribution system. I think that the first solution would I think of it like a spectrum. Like capitalism is here, and like communism would be here, and like socialism somewhere in the middle. I think that we're so far to the pure capitalism side that we neglect many social welfare policies that would help the bottom 20% or whatever. Meanwhile,
Nah.
the 20%.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go keep going.
I was gonna say the top 20% has 80 something percent of the wealth, which is fucking crazy.
But our poor people have iPhones, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that the quality of life of poor people is necessarily bad, but
Okay.
I think relative to everyone else.
Okay, but so you're admitting that, or let me ask, do our poor people have a better quality of life than any other country's poor people?
Depends what you're talking about for poor. I think that our probably the bottom 10-15% of our people do not have a better life than a lot of people in Europe or like Nordic countries.
So economically, so our poor people economically are not doing as well as the same economic poor people in other countries.
Yeah, they're not poor countries like other European countries.
Well, a lot of the Nordic countries are more capitalist than we are. Denmark and Switzerland, for one, they're more open markets than we are.
I think that we can have a system with open markets and still helping poor people. I don't think I think open markets, free markets are good.
Okay. Why are people why does the government have to give people these things that you're calling for, these social programs?
I mean, if they're not giving the people, if you're paying taxes to a government and they're not doing things to benefit you, why do you even need the government?
Here we are. Yeah, I agree, right? No taxes. I don't want to do that.
Completely. I'm going the exact opposite direction. I think
you want more taxes.
I guess if you're paying taxes, you should benefit directly from the taxes. If people who pay taxes in America don't directly benefit from
right. And, okay, but everybody's still paying taxes, and why aren't they getting that? Because the government sucks at their job, right?
I agree.
So you want to give them more money?
So Eric,
What?
When you say that the taxes should directly benefit you if you're paying the taxes, I know
Yes.
some conversations before where you think all the social welfare programs are needed in the country, no hands down. Like, how does that benefit me directly? If I'm paying my taxes, how does that benefit me?
What do you mean?
If I'm supposed to be paying the taxes for the benefits me, how does programs like that,
What programs like what?
like social welfare?
Like, do you like going to the library?
Yeah.
That's funded by your taxes.
But I would say
Like-
that if he didn't have taxes, he could just fund that kind of stuff himself.
Yeah.
He would have more money to put where he wants to fund.
So would you support like a country with like literally zero taxes? It's like all everyone for themselves, just like the people like do it, like you get to spend your money how you want it.
No, because I believe in investing in my country. I think that if everyone is doing better, then ultimately I'm doing better.
Like, you have to taxes.
Like I want cops. I
Right.
want cops, and I want cops to be paid by taxes.
What are you saying, Sean?
I'm saying taxes are the price you pay for a civilized society. So, like, I think you should have taxes. I just wanted to poke a hole in your argument a little bit, see how you responded.
I mean, I think one of the things that we've talked about before in maybe one of our group chats was what if there's like a way for people to personally like they have like a specific amount determined that they have to allocate to certain types of public funding, but they get to decide where their personal money goes.
So
I think
you're
that's
and you are better at spending your money than the government is.
So yeah, but you're spending it but you're spending.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
No, I'm agreeing. This is my point.
But you spend your like you're still getting your tax dollars, but you get to allocate where you put your money. Like that's coming out of your.
Yeah, and you know why that's a good fucking idea? Because the government sucks at what they do. They don't put your taxes. You still hit potholes, right?
I mean, yeah, but okay. So now this is the one flaw I find with that system, is that you're gonna have drastic amounts of people that go for like very big areas, like let's just say like public, like libraries, like all the like for all this stuff. But now you're gonna also have areas of areas of tax where tax dollars used to go to that are now going to be drastically underfunded. Like let's just say for example, somehow, some way, um, let's say that people just completely go against the military, and now no one is giving their personal allocations to military funding. Now you can say that currently we have like overly expensed into our military program, but in a time that can be crucial money that we need, but no one's giving. So how would you counteract that, or what would your idea be for something like that?
Well, I don't think anybody like. I think that's the best system because that's an open market. People will decide what succeeds and fails. I don't think anybody would be dumb enough to not fund their military. We might end up like the flaw with that is we might fall into that thing where I don't have to do it because other people will, and then that would be a problem. But that's what I'm saying, that there should still be a level of taxes, and because government is important, like there's no doubt about that. We need law and order. That's important, but that's what I'm saying. People spend their money in better ways than the government spending your money. You'll get to fund what you want to fund.
So do you think just quickly, do you think that if we were to implement a system like this, that every single dollar you pay in taxes, you get control of how you implement it? Or would you say that it's like let's say like a 30-70 split where the government automatically gets 30% of your tax dollars and the other 70% you get to fund whatever you want to? Would you say that
No, I
system's
would
better, or just 100% you get to decide where it goes?
I would go a step further and take a lot of programs out of the government and make a lot of programs like privatized. Like I would make schools privatized. I would make whatever, the people that pave the roads privatized, so communities can fund the best the best companies that do those jobs the best, and take those jobs out of the government. I don't think the government should be doing a lot of those jobs.
You
I
don't
think
think government should be in education at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see what public education is like? Why is it that way? Because the government runs it. What happened to our charter schools? What happened to our preparatories?
Funded by
What
the
happened?
income tax in your area,
Excuse me?
because public education is funded by the income tax in your area. So you don't have as high like in where I'm right now, in
Right.
Connecticut, they have a much higher income tax than they do in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and so clearly the Fairfield schools are going to be better than the Bridgeport schools.
Right, and mine are trash, which is why the community can all send their children to one school, and if that one school sucks, it'll fail. But these government-run schools, if they suck, they literally cannot fail. So then you have these programs that suck and that get funded anyway. Whereas if it sucked, we can just stop paying them, and they would fail.
But with that example, if you take the Bridgeport schools and you say, okay, fine, we're going to privatize them, whatever company is taking this over, they get to do it, and they're funded by people. How are they going to get more money from the people when the people do not have the ability to take the amount of money they need from these private schools?
If there were less taxes, they would have more money.
Or if we tax people with more money and distributed it more evenly, they would have more money as well.
Personally, differentiate stealing and taxes. What's the definition of theft?
Taking something that isn't yours.
Okay. They earned that money, right?
Depends what you mean by earn. The people that are billionaires aren't making their money from their hard work. They're hiring people and getting the surplus value of their work and just keeping it.
You and Luke make money.
Jeff Bezos doesn't deserve to have billions. Bill Gates doesn't deserve. Joe Rogan doesn't deserve to have billions. So all these millionaires just are millionaires for no reason.
They literally all say, "Oh, I could never spend this money. It's unspendable, no matter how hard I try." Why do you need that much money? After you you win the game, congratulations. You got everything else goes to the country now.
So just off that, other people deserve it.
I don't know if I would use the word deserve it. I think it's
okay.
I think it's just right. I mean, like people don't have homes, and Jeff Bezos just bought his 15th yacht. Like that's my point essentially.
But what's wrong with that? Like he works hard. I understand what you're saying. That's a fucked up reality. That people are starving and he has multiple jets and homes in every state, whatever. I understand it's a harsh reality. But who are you to take his money away?
I'm no one. I'm just Eric. I think the government should do it.
No. Okay. Okay. And okay, so then what's the incentive? What's the incentive to try to create, to innovate then at that point?
I mean, if you can still be a billionaire, I'm talking about like a 1% like wealth tax. Like Bernie Sanders proposed a 1% wealth tax on all your assets.
But this is what I'm saying. That's theft. That's legit. You're stealing someone's money because you feel bad for other people.
Them because they make more money.
Right, and that's to me that sounds.
But just because they can doesn't mean that they should.
Why
is the responsibility on them?
Exactly. That's a great question. That's a great question. Why
they have an extra tax put on? Just because they have more money.
Right. That's a great question. Why is Jeff Bezos now responsible for the poor?
Because he has all of the money.
That's the final answer? Because he has more, you should take from him?
It's not just because he has more. It's because he has an absurd, unspendable amount of money.
Because he has more. Because he has more, you want to steal from him.
I don't want to steal from him. I want to tax him his fair share.
Which is theft. He doesn't want to give it to you.
I did not concede taxation. If you think like theft is taking something and taking it for your own, like stealing it for your own good.
And that's what these poor people are. They're taking it for their own good.
No. Taxation is for the good of the country, for the good of the people.
and stealing is still wrong. It doesn't matter, even if you're Robin Hood.
Oh, it's not stealing.
Joe and Eric, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So clearly there's different ideologies about taxing the individual, but what about taxing like Amazon, the company?
I was just about to bring that up, Christian. I was just about to.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
not
just
profitable.
about to. I was just about to bring up how. Well, first I want to say like I think that taxation. I think like there's definitely some type of money that you should be giving back, that the government should be taking from you, because after all, like without the current setup, you don't have the infrastructure to make the money you're making, right? So like if you're not in the United States, I mean sure there's other countries out there, but specifically if you're based in the United States infrastructure is what allows you to gain your wealth. So in a way there should be some type of like repayment back for that. Now, the one problem that I have with uh, this Bezos thing is, yeah, if you're talking about personal wealth, I mean, taxation, yeah, it sucks because it takes a decent amount out of your paycheck every year, right? But but what about Amazon and Verizon and these big companies who pay $0 in corporate taxes? But now, if you're for capitalism, you say, well, uh, or free markets, right? You're gonna say, well, they're the big fish in the pond. They're gonna eat up all the little ones. But when you have an unfair advantage where these smaller companies may be making very similar products, but they have to pay all their corporate taxes. They don't get the corporate loopholes that these big companies do. I think that kind of sets up like a little uneven playing field. How do you feel about that, Jeff?
I just think it's funny that you're going to people to to fill the responsibility of of other people. You're asking Jeff Bezos to be responsible for the poor and not the government.
But what about just like what about
The
just
government is the
like
people. The government is made up of the people. The government doesn't have any money for
No,
itself.
the government
Money
works
from,
for the people.
yeah, it
The,
should. It
the
doesn't.
government has three jobs and only three jobs: to protect your life, liberty, and property. It is up to you to have a successful life. If you succumb to succeeding in life, you should not be taught or trained or learn to lean on anyone other than yourself. Jeff Bezos and the billionaires are not responsible for anybody else.
I think that a major thing of why entrepreneurs and business owners make I mean, like you would say that they make more than the average like 9 to 5 job, correct? We could all agree that.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah. So now in economics, there's a thing called opportunity cost, and they put their time and put their own money up to create their own business. So therefore, they're taking a risk, and then that risk benefits them later if their business is successful, and then that's totally reliant on the fact that they took such a big risk. It's literally gambling when you're making a business.
What if
And
gambling?
they're the reason, but it's rich people. Like, how many jobs has Jeff Bezos created? And
How many has he?
it's rich people that create jobs and opportunities for other people. It's the government that tries to get you to lean on them and essentially be a slave to the government. The government wants you to not be independent. They don't want it. They don't want you to be autonomous. That's why autonomy is super dangerous to governments. That's why America is the greatest country. It's the most autonomous country. When you take that away, it's really damaging to the individual.
Well, first of all, the government is the biggest job creator in the country. Second of all, how many jobs? If you good luck like working in a retail store in a mall now? How many malls are closing down because you just order on Amazon?
And that's why he deserves his money. Think about, he just changed the world. He changed America. That's
think his workers deserve money?
impressive. And now it's up to somebody. Now it's up to individuals to operate in that market. It's not the government's job to make sure that you're not poor.
Do you think that
Your job.
be paid more?
No, because that doesn't change how much jobs make. If you
What if
want
Jeff
to,
Bezos had no workers? Would he be as rich as he is? He
no,
needs
he
workers
wouldn't.
just as much as they need him.
Yeah, and
that's
if
why
you
the
increase,
jobs
if you increase the minimum wage, it doesn't change how much he makes. People are going to lose jobs because he's going to have to replace two people's salaries into one salary because he's not going to make more money just because you increase the minimum wage.
I don't want to increase the minimum wage. What about a worker co-op
Explain.
where the owner of the company and all the workers own the same amount of the company? Say like this.
I would be totally
No, they didn't create the business. They don't.
But they're
No.
just as valuable.
They're not though. They didn't make a multi-billion-dollar idea.
They helped him make it.
No,
Without workers, he doesn't have a billion-dollar company.
He does. Yeah, there will be people to fill those seats, and that's. Go ahead. If you don't want to help Jeff Bezos be rich, that's fine. Somebody else is going to do it, man. And that's how the market works. You get paid based off of your skill level. If you think that you're being underpaid, then go find a job that pays you more. And that's not the government's problem. That's not Jeff Bezos' problem. If you can only get a job at Amazon, well, guess what, buddy? You don't have the skills to work anywhere else.
What about the jobs that are literally only there because Amazon dropped a warehouse in there and you have to work for Amazon or you're poor?
Then it sounds like you have no skills to do anything else.
I think that
Those
business.
Sean, what are you going to say?
Me?
Sean, yeah.
I was going to say, like, I think, and he's talking about how it's not the government's job to help you get a job or anything. And for the most part, I would agree with that. It is not the government's job. It's your skill level. However, if you are, like, I know it's not as big of a thing here, but more in the central states and maybe more out west and stuff, where they're used to working in factories, like steel factories and such. If Jeff Bezos comes in and he takes over the area and their jobs are gone, I think the government should have to help those workers learn new skills to compete in this day and age, because a 55-year-old steel worker who's always worked in a factory is not going to be able to work in a high-tech computer world, and he needs to be taught some skills so that he can still make a living for his family.
Why is that the government's job?
Because the government's job is to make sure that its people aren't dirt poor.
That's not the government's job at all. The government has only 3 jobs: to protect your life, liberty, and property. They do. That's literally the Constitution. You can't disagree. That's the Constitution.
You can disagree because it's the job to protect its citizens.
Okay. Yeah, your life, liberty, and property. Their job is to make sure nobody kills you.
You can't afford food on your table is a domestic attack on people.
No,
Yes.
It's not. That means you have no skills to work.
But how
Singapore has no minimum wage.
Whose factory just got shut down.
Wait, can I read this from the Constitution?
To do anything else.
Eric, go ahead.
This is a quote from the Constitution, the preamble. To form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty.
Okay. And now, where in that does it say that we're supposed to make sure that you have skills to learn a new job?
It doesn't say that, but it says the general welfare of the people. And if that means taking a little bit more money from very, very rich people so that there's a higher baseline of living, I think that they should do that.
But it's already there. You can go on welfare to Section 8 housing. There's already programs for that.
And why are people homeless?
Because they suck.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's not a good enough answer for me.
Because the government sucks, dude. Why is the government not taking care of these people? Because they suck. If you made a businessman, if a business guy had an incentive to make homes and made profit off that, they would. But there's no incentive to do that, and the government has no means to do that.
Sean, you look like you wanted to say something, but before you go, we have 8 minutes left. So just bear in mind.
I literally was just texting. Why does it say the remaining meeting time?
Yeah, because we only have like the basic Zoom plan, so we get 40 minutes.
So I'm going to take a big problem with what you just said about homeless people, because a lot of the homeless people that exist in this country are veterans that fought for this country and served in the military. And the government said, thank you very much. You can go live on the street now. That's it. You're done. And
The government definitely did that to people.
Make sure that when they come out of the armed forces, they can transition back into civilian life, which means having a house to live in and having the skills required to get a job in the country. That is the government's job.
And the government failed, right? Because the government sucks at their job. Full circle.
Yeah.
Was America the greatest country in the world? You keep saying that, but the government does everything, apparently. The government can't do anything right.
America is the best country because it's capitalist, and that's what I'm saying. If you want to raise taxes and move more socialist, it's going to be more shitty because they're going to have their hands in more programs and more. Their hands are going to be in more things, and they're not good at what they do.
You're saying the government sucks at everything they do now, and you just said before we're the most capitalist, one of the most capitalist countries.
Yes. Yeah, and we have a lot of social programs.
I think we have not nearly as many social programs as other countries do.
I agree with you.
And the government still sucks.
They do, and they should have less power.
Capitalism and socialism. That's why the government sucks. Maybe our government is just run by people who lobby and pay exorbitant amounts of money so that people vote for what they want.
That's also true.
We should be able to we shouldn't have to say where we want our taxes to go. We should be able to vote, and our vote should actually matter. What we want to happen doesn't happen in this country because there's rich people paying for it not to happen.
Well, but you know why they're rich? Because of the people. We keep paying them. We keep using Amazon. And if we didn't, they would fail. And that's why capitalism is good, because if we, the people, get to decide what succeeds and what fails. If you think Jeff Bezos has too much money, then how about everybody stop using Amazon? You know why people don't stop using Amazon? Because it's a good fucking company.
Well, I agree with that. That makes sense. But that doesn't justify the fact that his company creates an absurd amount of wealth for him.
It literally does. We gave him the wealth. The people chose to do that, man.
Can't get mad at him because he's successful.
I'm not mad at him. I'm just saying that the government needs to step in. The government steps in when there's a monopoly, when a company is too big. What about when
you don't want to? That's a slippery slope when you give the government that kind of power to just come in and take your money.
No, I'm not saying take their money. I'm saying the government should prevent monopolies from forming. Which they already do. There's already laws against monopoly.
Yeah, but
not enforced.
Amazon's like basically monopoly.
Yes, but they have competitors. A monopoly is no competition.
Yeah, but their competitors are like almost non-existent.
Look, I agree with you guys. I agree with that. It's
like their competition is like so weak that like it's like doesn't even matter.
But that's not.
Well, then compete with them. But someone could just make. But that's the beautiful thing about capitalism is this ensues innovation. Like if everyone's saying their business, so then this is what happens. People create better things because they have to compete with a better thing. And we get better things and we get cheaper things, which is why our poor people have iPhones.
There's people have iPhones in all countries around the world.
Yeah, go to Africa, go to Mexico, go to all these places.
People have iPhones in Mexico. What the fuck are you talking about?
Poor people. Yes, I know that people have iPhones all over the world, sir. I'm talking about poverty.
Okay, so how are we defining poverty? Are we defining it like
poor, no money,
like $3 a day? Because that's absurd.
That's what But this is what I'm telling you. Our poor people have more because of capitalism.
I don't think it's because of capitalism.
Sure, capitalism makes things cheaper.
You say capitalism breeds innovation, but you go to the grocery store and you see 30 of the same bread. It's the same thing, different company. 30 of the same crackers, but it's just.
And why is it so cheap?
I don't know. Why is it so cheap?
Because capitalism. Because people have to compete with prices.
Can't say we're going to make bread $5.
You can compete in a socialist market.
No, you can't. No, there is no competition in a socialist market.
You have no idea what socialism is then.
No, but the government controls businesses in socialist markets.
Nope, that's communism.
No, that's socialism, dude.
Socialism is when the workers own the means of production.
Okay.
There's free market socialism. It's a thing.
I think that that's a great way that we could segue into the next episode, which is
Sure.
socialism. So I think next week we could just talk about socialism. We could read up on what it's all about. Look at some examples of it being applied, and go from there.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, yeah, we have to, all of us, like, need to try to read like stuff that opposes our views, while also reading stuff that agrees with our views too, but like not like immediately discounting the other side to be untrue. It's just there's some truth in everything, I believe, but it's just a matter of discerning what is the best course of action, which is
Yeah, you want competition of thought, the best idea to prosper.
yeah, and even merging of ideas, because I feel like there's good ideas in a lot of what Eric says, and there's a lot of good ideas in like stuff that you say, what I say, what Luke says, what Sean says.
There is a lot of good things that come out of socialism,
You're at level.
but not. I don't think it works.
All right, we'll end it there because we have less than a minute.
Okay.
All right.
It was fun, guys.
Thanks, guys. It was good having Joe on. I'm predicting that these episodes are gonna get more steamier. So buckle up, put your bra straps on, and get ready for the next one next week. See you guys.
All right, fellas.
See you later, boys.
All right.
Let's see you all again.